Shelly and I's second date was out to meet my folks, and we drove by this farm, and we were 22, and I told her, I said, I don't know, it's got to be between me and you, Blondie, but I'm living there when I get older. And we ended up buying the farm, and I think that's when I know, when I left construction, I knew I wouldn't be going back. But I also knew when we got pre-qualified for this place that something was going to give in the economy, and it was really bizarre to me. We went in with our financials the last 2 years, and we were Aaron and Shelley, and we came back a week later, and we were Mr. and Mrs. Reinwald. And I pick up on shit like that really quick when people treat you different when they find out something like that about you. And we sat down, and he said, I have some really good news for you guys. And I said, what's that? And he goes, you should probably shop in the, I think it was 475 to 500 range. And I went, 500 what? And Shelley looked at me, kind of like moron. And I'm like, what? 500 what? And I said, you're going to loan me $500,000 to buy a house? And he goes, yeah. And I said, most I'm going to need is like 180, maybe 200, And he goes, that's not going to be an issue, Aaron, Mr. Reinwald, And I'm just like, fuck, this is just... It bothered me so much, and then I thought, well, God, how many people are saying yeah? If they're giving this much money to me, now granted, Shelley and I on paper were making an enormous amount of money, but I know there's people that did that, and I said, something's going to give, something's going to give somewhere. And so we bought the place, and I didn't even have a job. I'd finished construction. I was going to, the boss there said, I want you to take some time off. And I said, look, I'm 40 hours from being vested with the union. Let me stay and get vested with Local 701, and then I'll take some time off. And he goes, fine, you can come back, And so I got vested with the union, and the funny thing about that, it takes 6 years to get vested with Local 701 operating engineers, 12,000 hours, and I did it in 4 years and a month. I was tired when I left, and bought the farm. Shelley's pregnant with Jack. Her and Mackenzie are living with her folks out in Marion. I'm here, and I'm remodeling, paint, and everything. And she moved in about a month later, and I still, wasn't at work or anything. And she goes, "You gonna get a job?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a job." And she goes, "What are you gonna do?" I said, "I've been thinking." She's like, "Well, and?" And I said, "I'm gonna be a man." And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Bread man, beer man, milk man, garbage man, some kind of man." And she's like, "Why?" And I said, "I think those are all pretty recession-proof jobs." Go back 13 years, fuck, I look like a rocket scientist, And I decided on garbage because I didn't see it fluctuating. And so I interviewed in Woodburn. They didn't hire me. I interviewed 3 times in Salem, and they didn't hire me. And finally I went back and asked to speak to the manager, and we went in his office. I said, is there a reason, you won't hire me? And he goes, yeah, there's 2. And I said, what's that? He goes, I think you're way overqualified, and I don't understand how you can make a $40,000 a year income cut. And I said, well, that's kind of my business, right? And he goes, yeah. And I said, just give me a chance. Give me a truck and a route, and I'll be the best garbage man you've ever seen. And he did. And I've been here. August will be 13 years, and it is a great job. I mean, people treat us sometimes like we're lepers. They open the door and see it's us, and they'll close the door. It's awful. But let's really talk about that whole thing. I mean, what does it take to be a garbage man? Do you have a CDL? Can you pass a piss test? And if you get hired there, it is by far the easiest job I've ever had in my life. And it's a good job. It's regardless of what most people think, it's a pretty noble job. Think about if we didn't come to your house for 2 months, how bad your situation would be. But you are a garbage man, so you what's required of you? You got to do a pre-trip on your truck. You got to run your route efficiently. Don't hit anything. That's a major point. Don't hit anything, and do your post-trip on your truck, and fucking go home. Here's your free clothes. Here's your $300,000 truck. As much fuel as you need, and by the way, here's all the work you want, guaranteed employment. Just don't hit anything and pass a piss test. And by the way, here's your $40,000 to $60,000 a year, your absolutely outstanding health insurance, and your guaranteed pension. I mean, it's the greatest job in the world, and it's gravy. I mean, they tell me not us not to lose focus out there. Oh, fuck, I've been doing it so long I daydream all the time. I mean, it's horrible. It's really a breeze, and I enjoy it very, very much. But being there, it was hard sometimes, and it's been hard a couple times. I miss construction sometimes. I really do. I miss big iron and running equipment and a job site, a major job site, working with Ed Woodry. We did some things that we're involved with that are truly, absolutely amazing to me. But that 701 thing, we had a temporary mechanic come in our shop, and he was working on a rapid rail, the arm that shoots out of the truck, and it's a big violent action. And I walk in, and I said, "Hi, I'm Aaron." He goes, "Aaron, I'm Tim. Nice to meet you." And I said, "The first time I saw one of those, I thought of a pile hammer." And he looked at me, and he put down his wrench. He goes, "What'd you say?" I said, "When the first time I saw one of," he goes, No, I heard you, but what do you mean?" I said, "Well, the minute you turn that on, it starts destroying itself." And he goes, What do you know about a pile hammer?" I said, "Same thing. I mean, driving piling, that machine just absolutely destroys itself the minute you turn it on. It starts ruining itself just like that rapid rail arm." And he looks at me, he goes, and by now there's 5 or 6 guys that I worked, I think this is at like 10-year mark, 5 or 6 guys standing next to me, and he goes, "You 701? I said, "I am. I'm an operating engineer." And he goes, "You vested?" I said, "Of course." And he goes, "What in the fuck are you doing being a garbage man?" And I kind of, felt funny, and I kind of went, and I didn't know how to take that. It was like he caught me working out of class or something. It really, I didn't know how to feel. I felt funny about it. And we talked a little bit more, and then he asked where I work, and I told him. And then the next week, I ran into him, and he was like, "You son of a bitch." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I ran into Frank Thompson up at the 701 meeting last Thursday. He absolutely thinks the world of you. That job is opening up in Corvallis. It's 4 years. You should come back." And I said, "Yeah, I know." He goes, "Man, come on, Aaron." He goes, 80 grand a year, 80 plus, 4 years, just come back. We can't find anybody." And I said, "Nah, I'm not going to do that. I got my thing vested here, with the whole garbage deal." But it was nice to have Frank say that thing about me. And like I said, sometimes I miss the excitement of that. And Ed and I were put in situations there that were so bad, and we always won. We always came out on top. And sometimes here, being a garbage man with this company, we don't always win, and it has been really hard on me with that. It's not always smooth and easy going, and everything doesn't mesh together perfectly. But I love my job. It's awesome. So the other day when I said that I give up, it's not that I give up. I let it go. I've been bitching for the last 4 or 5 years, and I mean, nothing's changed. I got the pack can off my truck because of my new route supervisor, which has pretty much saved my ass. But the things that I have a huge problem with are not going to change, and they say they can't and whatever. So I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Okay. They're not going to. I will not be the angry garbage man anymore. But the situation that I have, and it's really easy to explain. I met the guy. When one of my stops shuts off, it never comes back to me. And I don't go down the street. I go from house to house to house. So if this person shuts down and comes back on, and I don't know, I don't go there. And so by the time I get there, they're very upset or angry, and there's nothing they can do about that. So I actually met the guy who wrote our computer program for our route system. And I was very polite, shook his hand, said, "I'm Aaron. Can I talk to you for a second?" He's like, "Sure." I said, "I'm having a problem with this," and I said, "I need to ask you." I said, "Oh, in this circle, split 4 ways, okay, route 41, 42, 43, and 44. When 41 customer shuts off, the computer shuts it down, someone else moves in, it goes right to 41.